The only thing I've noticed about this since I've been tinkering on it, see that? Somebody got in there though. Somebody's been here. Somebody's been here. I'm really afraid it has a cam in it. It's kind of the first will it run of Between the Sharks. This is an unknown motor. I wouldn't call it a junkyard motor, but it is a Craigslist motor. Whew. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, day 3. Woo! Apparently I just left it all where it fell yesterday, so. Alright, I mean, it's gonna have to do. So I've got a running list of stuff that I notice as I go that I'll probably forget. I'm kind of waffling, so I need to not waffle and just keep going. Breakfast time though, waffles would be. Continuing on, right? Faster, more faster though. Most intake gaskets and internet arguments suggest that you should install your internet. What are we working on? Huh? Manifold. Most manufacturers suggest that you install your intake manifold gaskets dry. No RTV, no sealer, no nothing like that. And the internet will argue about this ad nauseum because that's what the internet is for. Strangers arguing with each other. Here's how I feel about it, here's what I do, here's what I'm gonna do, and here's why I'm gonna do it. I look at the surfaces, and sometimes they need a little extra love. And I would say, in this case, I've wire wheeled them, I've scraped them with a razor, I've cleaned them with some kind of chemistry, and there's just discrepancies in pitting, especially around the water jackets. I'm gonna RTV the China wall right yonder, and I'm gonna RTV around the water passages just because, even on the intake, this is aluminum, but we have some pitting and stuff because it's old. What is this random divot? I don't know. Because my surfaces are imperfect, a very thin coat of RTV will be going on both sides of the gasket. The reality is, if I have an issue with my intake manifold seal, either water or vacuum, the gasket's getting replaced anyway. It's not like I would go through the process of draining all the coolant, pulling all the stuff off, pulling the intake off, and putting used gaskets on anyway. So, very thin coat, both sides, we'll slap it in. Some people may argue with me, but you know, that's fine. Just gotta get her to top dead center and distributor time. Yeah, there we go. Doing the oldest method in the book. Number 1 spark plug's out, so basically when you start getting air blowing back out of there, you're sneaking up on number 1, then you just line up your marks. I'm gonna cheat. Put her at 10 degrees or so. Maybe 8, because I don't want to be at 0. Too far. When I land the distributor, it's probably not going to be exactly right. Should be enough to run. All right, we got a brand new distributor gasket, and we're going to use our old distributor because it was indeed working. At some point after all the road trips, the coil did go out in it, and so that's been replaced. So the rotor, lining up the rotor with the oil pump gear, which has the little medular in there. One convenient thing about this location is I can reach right down in here and turn the oil pump, which it actually looks like it's pretty darn close to pointing where I want it, which is we're just going to point it toward number 1. All right, let's get lucky. Kind of right. I mean, that's seated, but not where we want it. Not seated, but right where we want it. Because these gears are cut the way these gears are cut, it obviously has to rotate as it engages with the cam gear. See, oh, that landed right in there. Perfect. We got a winner! All right, we got plug wires, we got a distributor. Just keep trucking away. It's noon, day 3. Engine wise, we need valve covers, valve cover gaskets. We need carburetor put back on and all the stuff involved in that. Connecting all the fuel lines from the fuel pump all the way up. All the vacuum lines that go to it. Install the water neck. We need to install the alternator and the alternator belt and the pulley for the water pump, the fan. Then I think we're on to like the radiator and all of that other stuff. We have a couple of wires that we need to hook back up to our distributor once all the valve covers and everything else are in place. Throttle return cables, etc., etc. It's a lot of stuff, but it's really not. Just trying to think it out while I'm trying to think. Then we're gonna dive back in. What the hell were we doing though? All my thinks made me lose track. Dudes, pulled out a bunch of valve covers. None of them had the right opening and gasket set up for the oil filler. Maybe it was one of those, most likely they just jammed it in a breather hole. So these fancy ones are going back on, and I have been looking and looking and looking. I was like, what the hell did I do with the other one? And the answer is, not a damn thing. It's still sitting right there on that motor. Whew, uh-oh, this is not good. We're fading fast. All right, gang. Carburetor time. It's that going on the ground time. I grabbed a new base gasket out of a kit. I'm not gonna mess with this carburetor because I don't even know yet what the deal is and what the situation is. So I've gone through this thing relatively recently. This is where somebody had glued on an Edelbrock logo, and it is not one of those. So I just filled it up with oil, and basically it crossed my mind for the first time today, and I was like, oh man, I'm completely in danger of forgetting to add oil before I try to start this thing up, because my brain is getting obsessed with the idea that A, I hope it's a good running motor, and B, I hope it doesn't have some kind of drag racing cam in it, because that happens. That's kind of what was in the other Craigslist motor that I bought. I need the vacuum. I need vacuum to power brakes. Big cams don't do that very well. Or at all. I'm just hoping she's a stalker. It's that timing cover that makes me nervous. The only thing I've noticed about this since I've been tinkering on it, see that? Somebody got in there though. Somebody's been here. Somebody's been here. Gang, I really don't want to do this exhaust thing, so we're just gonna go ahead and get her done because it's Dread City. But the reality, dudes and dudettes, is it's 92 degrees and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm just drenched. Getting covered in tiny little hot metal grains and having them stick to you, it's like at the end of the day at the beach when the sand's all stuck to you, but you're a little sunburned and it's not fun anymore. That's metal work in this weather. Well, I've whined about it. Time to do it. Back off. Nobody likes you. Karate. What are you? It's like some weird teetsy fly out of Jumanji, man. Oh, shit. There we go. All right, just jammed the exhaust back in. I'm still gonna take some measurements to buy some parts and pieces, but I realized once I got this loose, I was able to just put it back together, and eyes on the prize, because gang, we need to confirm this motor is a good motor. So we need to be working directly towards that without making too much more work for ourselves. I need to take some measurements for the exhaust, and then I need to head to the parts store because we are short a water neck gasket. That is our biggest hang up right now, which is pretty crazy. But I'll buy some exhaust parts while I'm there, just because, you know? Oh, O'Reilly! Whoa! Gotta hold on there, fellas. Round 2. But it turns out they still want some form of currency in exchange for auto parts. And I forgot my wallet. What am I missing and what did I forget? Because right now, I think all that needs to happen to test the motor light goes back on, alternator, fan, and belts and all that stuff. Radiator, battery, key. Oh my god. The closer I get, the more worried about this motor I get. I really want it to run well, but I'm really afraid it has a cam in it. Oh, no cam. Tell you what, worrying about it is not going to make it better. So we're going to stop worrying about it right now and just hope she runs. How's that for a plan? I think it's around 3 o'clock. I don't know where I put my phone. It's somewhere in the wreckage. And you know, I actually like wearing a watch, but you get your hand down in these things enough and you can't get it back out because you got a watch on, you end up not wearing a watch anymore. It gets like 95 degrees. Clearly I'm getting delusional. I'm sweating just standing still. All right, on to my least favorite thing about any radiator install. Transmission lines. Trusting your instinct that it's really threading and not cross-threading before you put a wrench to it. Feel like it's only getting hotter out here, but we are getting further along. That didn't do what it was supposed to do at all. Do what I want. Go in the spot. A little concerned about one of the transmission line connections, but always would be. We're probably down at least a half a quart of transmission fluid from what I spilled and what was in the radiator. We need coolant. Should have oil. Yeah, and then I think I gotta douse myself in ice cold water because it's like heat strokey out here. And drink a bunch of water, then with a cool head, do a final check. Even if I was 100% sure that this motor was good, broken in and ready to go, there's still 100 bolts that I took apart. I'm counting on my initial timing being right. I'm counting on, I wonder if I can time it, I haven't even looked. Counting on the starter being shimmed correctly. Pretty sure the belts are tight. Need to double check the firing order. Doesn't seem right. It's a gallon. That's not even tight. Forgot to remember to do that one. We'll get her. We got our first tiny little drip, drip, drip. Fellas, I seem to have lost the battery. It's about this big, heavy as hell. Oh, there it is. Oh God, the fact that I'm looking for it ought to tell you something. I'm nervous. When you're firing up an engine for the first time, after you've installed it, well, you're the guy that just tightened or forgot to tighten 200 bolts. And for this to go really well, the majority of them need to have been done correctly. I'm worried about the condition of the motor, but I'm also worried about all the crap I just did, you know? I'm quite capable of making mistakes and screwing things up. All right, gang. Well, here we are. Inside the vehicle, sweating bullets, mostly because it's hot outside, a little because we're nervous. I think now's the time. I've double-checked the firing order. It's got oil in it. It's got coolant in it. It's got enough gas in the carburetor that it should want to bark off. Hopefully I got the timing pretty close. Fire extinguisher. I could spend all day wondering what I didn't check, but I'm really pretty tired, so I don't know if anything will come to me that's really brilliant. And it turns out that these engines have a pretty good way of letting you know. This is a Craigslist motor that I bought years ago. Probably 4 or 5 years ago. Didn't use, stashed away. I think I paid $1,200 for it, and what the man told me was a turbo 400, which is actually a turbo 375, so that's not a good sign now that I think about it. Anyway, before my glasses completely fog up, morning safety glasses, because, well, we're with the engine here, gang. There is no firewall on these things with the doghouse out, so it's kind of the first will it run of Between the Sharks. This is an unknown motor. I wouldn't call it a junkyard motor, but it is a Craigslist motor. Whew. All right, here we go. about it. I'm worried about the timing now that I'm hearing that. So the answer is no, not immediately. That battery is weak. Let's get a charger on that for sure. All right, the charger's on boil fry 11 mode, which is basically 50 amps just to help it start. I don't know. I don't want to throw gas down the carburetor, but that's what it took last time. And if I'm being honest, I have no idea how much gas is in the tank. 10 amps now. Also put in a new fuel filter, and I don't know. So clearly the fuel filter, it's got a little in it now. So basically it's trying to pump, and I saw little squirts going on uphill. I'm assuming that fuel pump is good. I did buy another one just in case. I was paranoid because that one was clearly, the diaphragm was shot, but I was like, that doesn't really happen very often. At least I haven't had it happen very often, so I thought I'd just give it a whirl. Where is my gas? So we'll give it a splash. One of those. Definitely seems like we don't have any fuel. At least none getting here. Plus, it sounds like a timing issue as well, which makes sense because we haven't timed it. Feels like timing. How do we time it better if it's not running and we can't see it and we don't have a buddy? I don't know. Don't know at all. Because I don't know a great way to do this, I'm gonna just do it and advance the timing just a hair. Let's see if that does anything. If it makes it worse, we'll go the other way. So that should have advanced it a couple degrees, maybe a degree or two. We'll try it with no additional gas first. You guys strap in there. Then give it some actual gas. It smells like gas in here. I got a fuel tank, so. Ow. Feels like timing, but I don't know which way. That made it better. So maybe we go a little more? Just a fuzz. All right, fellas, we did the same kind of advanced thing. I did tighten it, right? Yeah, tightened it. Okay, good. Seems like it needs more timing. Don't know what that chirp is. Weird. So, before we go any further, let's drag out the timing light. If I can get it to run that much, I can figure out what the timing is. I'm kind of relieved. I don't know how smoky it is in here. Less smoky than the last motor so far. Fingers crossed. Guys, I should probably be jumping for joy. We're not out of the woods yet is where I'm at. Regular cook mode. We are not out of the woods, but it ran. So that's a huge improvement. And I'll show you guys, maybe you can kind of see down here, we can actually see the timing mark there, where on this motor, because it's a 7-inch balancer, which I think you can up update it to an 8-inch or whatever. I didn't even know this was here until I pulled the water pump off, because I put this timing tab on and I still couldn't see it. So it had the factory one. I didn't know at all. But I did go on quite a journey trying to figure out what timing tab worked. So your timing tab must match your balancer. There may be a workaround, I just don't know what it is. All right, gang, what do we think? I think she's at like 0, maybe 2 degrees advanced, maybe. Don't know why I'm calling that. It's just gonna make me look dumb. All right, hold on to your butts. We had 2 degrees before top dead center. Okay. I shut her down. We can clearly advance it some before we even fire it up. Doesn't need to be running for that. That's many degrees off. So just took a guess at it. We'll see how she did. 3, 2, 1. Everything in the world is burning off that motor right now, though. I mean, it's a smoke show in here. I don't think our valve cover gaskets are leaking, but we'll grab a light and find out. It's one of those things, gang. Anytime you got a new motor, I've used a ton of solvents and cleaning crap on it. It's got 6 layers of spray paint on it for some reason, so locking that down. It's right at about 10 degrees, which isn't too radical. Most people go to 12. We might do that, but just everything is just smoking. But hey, it runs. Like, wait, I just realized that. Will it fire back up? We're here. Let's find out. Will it do it? We're here. Let's do a little hot rod. Got oil pressure. I had a freak out because this gauge over here isn't working, and then I realized that gauge never worked. So, see that ticking? I can't really tell. And I can't tell if we've got a little bit of a vacuum leak, but it wouldn't surprise me. Gang, I'm super concerned about that transmission line. It really looks like it's gone in crooked. It's kind of my nightmare. Guess I'll gently pull it out and see if I can make it do right. Fudge. Gang, let's give it one more go. I was able to turn some of these exhaust bolts at least like 1/8 of a turn now that they're heated up. We got to tune the carburetor. We got to do all this stuff. The thing is, this ticking noise, it could be a valve, it could be a bad lifter, it could simply just be from sitting for 1,000 years. So I'm not even sweating it. Let's give it another whirl. I mean, it fires right up. It does not have some kind of lumpy cam. According to my doodler, it's got oil pressure. Got a nut fall out of here in my excitement. I don't know what that was. We're not smoking out the entire neighborhood. timing to 10. We're idling 450 RPM. That's really low. So I don't think it has a cam, and if it does, it's a really mild cam, and that makes me really, really friggin' happy. So we got, oh yeah, and I tried to tighten this thing down. How'd I do? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Gang, may have salvaged that too. Woo! I don't even know what to say. It's Wednesday evening. I want to be on the road by Friday. Gang, thanks for watching Between the Sharks. Please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. Good luck on your projects out there. We'll see you tomorrow when we tune this thing, and I have got to you know what I'm saying? We can't even get it out if we tried. But our Craigslist motor is a runner. Boy howdy. Yeah, I'm elated. All right, we'll see you next time.